Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. In a couple of seconds, you will hear President Trump categorically state he will release all the available evidence publicly. He stated that actually today and the other day. The problem, however, is that, number one, the state of New York, Democrats, by and large Democrats, because he was a Democratic donor, protected we'll call him EP. This is a Vox article in 2019. The state of New York protected EP, not his victims. This is a CNN article from 2019. Manhattan DA's office asked judge to lower status in 2011. Who was president in 2011? Oh, that's right. Okay. $20,000 EP gave. He was a Democratic donor from New York. Okay. Ro Khanna wants everything on a public website, but there are victims who, unfortunately, this is why he was so evil, the epitome of evil, were underage. You cannot put, Ro Khanna is doing a good thing by trying to get it out, but he knows very well that politically and legally that can't happen. A publicly available website where Ro Khanna and Democrats want video footage, pictures of people who were then not of age, along with EP and a whole bunch of powerful individuals from around the world. So you're not going to get a publicly available website to release the most disgusting, nefarious, insidious, disgusting, evil, the epitome of evil. You're not going to get a publicly available website, which is what Democrats wanted, to actually, in any legal sense, especially when it comes to the victims, you're not going to allow that as a purely political stunt. It was Democrats who defended and protected this man for years. Manhattan DA's office lowered the status. You had Hillary getting $20,000. This is an ABC News article from 2019. You had Hillary getting $20,000. This is all public record. You had John Kerry getting money. You had Chuck Schumer getting money. Okay, well, let's see. Where's Chuck Schumer here? $22,000. Chuck Schumer received $22,000. You'll hear from President Trump in a second. I would love for Ro Khanna or Democrats to explain why Chuck Schumer got $22,000 from EP. Or Hillary got $20,000 from EP, or John Kerry. Okay, so he gave to other Democrats as well. And, of course, the headline is he gave to several Democrats. He gave primarily to the Democrat Party. Okay, New York protected the man as years later they go after Trump for a parking violation. Okay, they made up things with Trump. Oh, he inflated his net worth. He wrote a check to Stormy. They protected, and this is in the Vox article, which it's under a paywall, but this is all nonsense from the media hoopla. The obsession is misguided for a number of reasons. Yes, everybody, the world should know all of the files immediately. President Trump ideally should release everything immediately, but not in a public website. That's crazy. That's completely crazy. And I mean, the victims alone would not want to be on a public website. There should be, President Trump should have handled it. His administration should have handled it in a much better way. That's 100% right. But what Democrats have done is they've only piled on because it's important to Trump and Republican voters to get the reality of all the crimes that took place that were protected by Democrats. Even Vox. Vox is run by liberal Democrats. Vox, I don't know if Vox has ever written a positive article about Trump. It's generally been negative about Republicans and Trump. But in 2019, they admitted the state of New York protected EP. Then you have a Miami Herald article. His EP's endless nefarious legal saga started in 2006 When 2008, when President Obama became president, you had 2009, 2010, 2011, 2015, 16. The DOJ did nothing all throughout President Obama's administration, right? And before President Obama's administration. That's a Miami Herald article right there. You have the Vox article right there. Okay? They couldn't even get a grand jury. New York couldn't get a grand jury to go after EP. Okay? And they lowered his status in 2011. And there's a whole bunch of other things that Democrats in these states did to help EP. So let's listen to President Trump right now.
But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Mr. President, a question on AI. President.
So anything that's credible, let them have it. The issue is that President Trump brings up the following. Any files, any government files are likely corrupted, or, he's likely part of an intelligence apparatus, or it was a nefarious, disgusting, insidious. It's not a honeypot, but it's EP, along with numerous intelligencies, not just the U.S., not just the one country in the Middle East that Democrats and others obsess over, but numerous countries probably used EP to blackmail and to pressure or leverage or blackmail a whole bunch of very powerful individuals. Okay, this isn't like rocket science. There's a reason, in addition to all the money that EP donated to Democrats, Trump had a plane also, by the way. He didn't need, people like Trump don't need money. They don't need politics to acquire, to generate revenue or income or money. To make a living. Democrats and many Republicans, need politics. That's what gives them their livelihood. And that's what gives them their fortune. Just ask Biden and everyone Biden pardoned. Or the Clintons. Or Kerry. Or the Bushes. So Trump, when they say Trump, they don't want to release the file. What Ro Khanna did was good, but in a publicly available website, it's such a blatant stunt. You can't release evil, nefarious video footage on a public website. Democrats. And so this is President Trump explaining.
She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she...
They probably, over the years of the past 2015, added Trump's name to these files. If there was any shred of reality that Trump was linked in a nefarious, disgusting, evil, insidious manner to Epstein, it would have taken place. That would have been out in the open in 2014, 2015, 2016, before Trump ever thought of running. Anything they could have done to stop President Trump, they would have done. Okay, then they had to actually make up. A Steele dossier, literally purchase a Steele dossier. So Trump is not going to release the entire, he called for the release just now. Okay, that is credible, that's legitimate. He's not going to release all of it because all of it is probably, or a lot of it is probably fabricated over the years to implicate people who actually aren't in those files. The assumption here when people are like, why isn't Trump releasing the files? It's like, use your brain for a second. Do you think that maybe all of the people who were actually implicated from 2006 until EP, quote unquote, offed himself, do you think just maybe there was some corruption in terms of the files, names added, People like Trump, who's taken a wrecking ball to the American political system, both left and right. Thank God. Do you think maybe they tried to lie and add his name? So the files either don't exist, were tampered with over the past decade plus, have legitimate information on the list of clients and all that, but how are you going to sift through what's true and what's not true after President Obama's administration for 8 years and then Biden's administration for 4 years? And so President Trump handled it. He didn't handle it well, this whole thing. But this is an issue with the Democrats, as always. You could look at P. Diddy. You could look at Harvey Weinstein. You could look at all of Hollywood. You can look at the music industry. You can look at all the little fiefdoms that are, devoted their souls or, their lives against Trump. And what's the connection? Well, the connection is there's a very nefarious and there are very nefarious and insidious groups or individuals, big directors, whatever. I'm just speculating here throughout this whole thing. I'm simply speculating. I have zero evidence other than the public record. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. New York, not Trump. Protected EP.